Not long ago, an NBA team from the East seemed poised to become a dynasty. The team was led by a star so famous, he was known by his first name only. But after rolling to successive NBA championships, the self-proclaimed bad boys from Motown found their reign cut short by another Eastern team. This team was led by an even bigger star. And in 1991, the Bulls dethroned Detroit en route to the first of 2 consecutive NBA titles. As the teams meet again today, many of the familiar names remain, including, of course, Isaiah and Michael. And with the Bulls perhaps on the verge of the three-peat that eluded Detroit, you wonder, does each team see a reflection of what might have been or what may be in the other?
This is the NBA on NBC. Today, it's the Chicago Bulls versus the Detroit Pistons.
A sellout at the Palace of Auburn Hills, home to the Detroit Pistons, who today host the champion Chicago Bulls for the first time this season. Chicago with the best road record in the NBA at 20 up and 10 down. Detroit fighting for their playoff lives. They've lost 3 of 5 here at home. And welcome to the NBA Game of the Week. What is wrong with this picture? The czar of the telestrator is here, Mike Fratello. I'm Kevin Harlan, replacing Marv Albert today, who is buried like many Americans under about 5 feet of snow on the East Coast. So, Coach, you got me today.
Kevin, welcome to the NBC team.
Thank you.
I hope neither team is affected by Marv's absence. I hope the viewers at home are not affected. But already, there has been a reaction. The czar would have made it here no matter what the circumstances. But locally, you know, the in thing is candy bars named after the celebrities. Well, because of this today, already a candy bar in honor of Marv.
The breakfast of champions, Dork. Hey, tell me about today's game, Chicago and Detroit.
What you have is 2 teams playing with a different purpose in mind. Chicago understands the importance of having home court advantage throughout the entire playoffs. Well, right now, they're just trying to maintain it in the Eastern Conference with New York and Cleveland challenging them for the best record overall. Now, for the Detroit Pistons, if they fail to make the playoffs, it will be the first time in 10 seasons that they're not there. So each has a different agenda, each trying to win this one for a different reason.
Well, needless to say, this time of the NBA season finds teams beaten and battered and bruised. And even in a game like this, the biggest star is hobbling. With a report on that, let's go to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Kevin. By the way, that was the nicest throw that I've ever received. Thank you very much for that. Now, on Michael Jordan, he had a bacterial infection in his foot. I talked to him this morning. He said the first game back, it hurt him quite a bit, but it's all over with now. He said it feels fine and he's ready to go. One other note is that Horace Grant did not make the trip because of sore knees. They hope to have him back next week. All right, Kevin.
All right, Ahmad, it's Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls against Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, and the Detroit Pistons. The tap is next. Rising the Bull backcourt. Robertson acquired about 2 weeks ago from the Milwaukee Bucks with Rodman starting after sitting out on Thursday. Terry Mills has been hot. Dumars and Thomas, when they get going, they can be as hot a tandem as you'll find in the NBA. There's Phil Jackson. 2 consecutive NBA championships under his belt. And Ron Rothstein in his first year after last year serving as the TV analyst for the Detroit Pistons and a scout now as the man heading this team, and it's been a rugged ride for him. 26 and 33 record for the Detroit Pistons, and we are underway. Armstrong will draw the defense at Thomas, and Jordan is picked up by Dumars. Pippen leads the team in assists. There's Armstrong. Jordan, the leading scorer in the NBA, quickly outside, 2-0 Chicago.
Jordan testing out the perimeter shot, immediately seeing if he has the good lift on him. One of the worst things.
Isaiah Thomas ties the game at 2.
Well, as I started to mention a moment ago, Michael seems to warmed up, got his perimeter game going, and Isaiah has his going. And these are 2 players that place a lot of importance to making those early shots. It's a nightmare for a defender when they get off early.
Will Perdue takes it inside, and it's a charging call on Will Perdue.
Chicago's offense is not set up for their centers to score. Their centers primarily are passing centers, but just like they do with Bill Cartwright, trying to get Will Perdue off early in the basketball game.
Dumars over Jordan just beneath the arc. And the Pistons jump out on top by 2.
But Detroit can play with any team in this league when they have all their parts together if their guards are making shots from the outside. When their guards don't make their perimeter shots, they struggle.
A mismatch across the way with Pippen on Mills. Now Jordan against Dumars. What a matchup this has been. We're tied at 4. Jordan 2 of 2. Isaiah Thomas, 32 years old, coming this April, and a guy who is probably slowing down just a bit, but he seems to rise to the occasion in big games like this, and the rivalry remains very intense. Dumars hits again, and neither team has missed to start the game.
Well, if you were concerned about a wake-up call, whether these two teams would be ready to go at 12 noon, they've come out right away to dispel any of those concerns.
Rodney McRae, and a whistle away from the ball. And it goes on Alvin Robertson. Kind of impact to see that on the Pistons since coming over from Milwaukee.
Alvin Robertson has been thrust into the role now of starting small forward because of injuries to Mark Aguirre, the concern over Dennis Rodman, as Scottie Pippen tries to knock down a 17-footer. And with Robertson, he doesn't care. He's a guy that just wants to win. Put him in any spot out there. Just give him some minutes. Let him play. He's happy with that.
Missed by Pippen, the game's first, and Thomas. Down low, picked off by Rodney McRae. Armstrong, and the defense applied by Thomas. Right through he goes, and B.J. Armstrong gives the Chicago Bulls a tie at 6 apiece. Mills. And he's been a very good player lately for Detroit.
A great pickup by Detroit as they were trying to travel call. Backcourt violation there by Scottie Pippen. A great pickup by Detroit because they're in the process right now of trying to bring some young players in, develop the young guys as the older players, Isaiah, Bill Lambier, wind down in their NBA careers. This one is a good one.
Showing Dumar. And Detroit's got their biggest lead of 4 points. 10 more to go for 10,000 for Dumars in his illustrious career with the Pistons. Here's Rodney McRae.
3 seconds.
And Pippen with a slight screen by Jordan. A rebound by Rodman.
Dennis Rodman sometimes gets going so hard. He's so enthusiastic. He runs over his own players on the floor.
Isaiah into the screen of Purdue, and outside Terry Mills. The Detroit Pistons from the field have gone 5 of 5.
If you have not seen Terry Mills play a whole lot, he's a big man that possesses a lot of skills. He beat the Boston Celtics here about a week and a half ago by knocking out a three-pointer with about 8 seconds left in the game. He can post you up down low, and he can pass.
Pippen with his second miss. Here comes Robertson now. Bulls got back well on defense, and it's stolen by Scottie Pippen.
One thing you probably won't see a lot of is turnovers in this basketball game. Both of these teams are tied as the second best team in protecting the basketball. Under 14 turnovers per game by both teams.
B.J. Armstrong just missing the 3. He is the 4th best three-point shooter in the NBA. And there's a turnover by the Chicago Bulls. That'll be their 3rd. Pistons have started a glistening 6 of 6, and Chicago 3 of 7 from the field and a 6-point Detroit lead. It's the 3. Detroit now 7 of 7 from the field.
Well, every team would like to be able to occupy Michael Jordan at the defensive end of the floor. Detroit happens to have that guy in Joe Dumars. If Joe keeps playing this way, it'll take more energy from Michael to slow him down.
It'll be off of B.J. Armstrong. Joey Dumars has been on fire. 4 of 4 from the field, including the 3. He's got 9 points to start the game here at the Palace of Auburn Hills. And we're approaching the halfway mark of the first quarter.
Over here, Alvin. 1 out. Alvin.
I thought it was an interesting statement in the newspapers the other day by Isaiah that this is now Joe Dumars' team. He's the guy that they go to at the end of games. But every now and then Isaiah said, I'm still capable of coming up with a big one.
We just saw Isaiah penetrate right there. That was his bread and butter for such a long time, wasn't it?
You always try to keep the ball in front of you as a defender, and people say Isaiah has slowed down. Well, you give him a little screen, he still has the basketball moves off the dribble and the ability to penetrate and get to the basket. A problem, however, has been his free throw shooting this season.
Well, he's coming off a 33-point game against Denver on Thursday with 9 assists. Isaiah Thomas with 4 points, and Chicago's down 17-6. McRae loses it. Nice defense by the Pistons. Rodman ahead to Robertson. And will go over Purdue. Detroit has started 8 of 8 from the field. They're on a 13-0 run.
Playing Alvin Robertson at the small forward spot isn't all that bad for the Pistons because you have a guy who can move his feet, stay in front of Pippen. Size on the glass might be the determining factor here. Advantage to Scottie Pippen in Chicago.
Bulls start 3 of 9 shooting from the floor. Here's Purdue. Mills picks him up. Isaiah in the mismatch now against Pippen. And Jordan will launch a 3.
You talk about teams that are on fire, coming out, lighting this thing up. Both teams making perimeter shots early here, heating up right away.
Michael Jordan now with 7 points in the game, and it's a 10-point Detroit Piston lead. Isaiah's got 4. He's guarded by Armstrong. Nice fake on Armstrong. A rotation defensively by Isaiah with the miss. Robertson with the rebound. Tapped up and in. There's Terry Mills.
One thing that Chicago is used to doing is beating other teams on the glass. They are 3rd best in total rebounds. One of their problems today, their best rebounder, Horace Grant, is not with them.
Second consecutive miss for Grant. This is Michael Jordan, and the rebound by McCray. And he could be a factor if he rebounds like that. Armstrong from the line. He's got 4 points, 21-11 the score, Pistons. Well, isolation now, and they'll get some help over on that way.
Trying to get Terry Mills involved down in the low post. See if he can command a double team down there.
Nope. Purdue reaching in, draws the foul. So the Detroit Pistons begin 9 of 11 from the field. Dumar's with 9, and the Pistons.
Showtime studio in New York to get you caught up on what happened last night around the NBA. Hakeem Olajuwon had 38 points and 14 rebounds as the Houston Rockets extended their winning streak to 13 games with a win over the Jazz in Houston. At Phoenix, the Suns suffered their worst home loss in over 8 years as the Nets won their 5th in a row without point guard Kenny Anderson. The Miami Heat have now won 10 straight games at home after edging the Sonics 106-102. And the San Antonio Spurs made it 17 wins in their last 18 home games by beating Portland. The Dallas Mavericks still have not won a road game this season. They lost at Sacramento 122-94. And the blizzard in the East postponed 3 NBA games. It also managed to trap my partner, Quinn Buckner, in Charlotte, North Carolina. I will return solo at halftime, but now let's head back to the Palace.
Adam, thank you very much. 6 points for Chris Mills to start this game for the Detroit Pistons. He is a fixture inside today going up against Will Purdue. How do you size up that matchup?
Well, Terry Mills has the ability to go outside and pull a big man out away from the basket, as he did in that Boston game I mentioned a week and a half ago when he hit the 3-pointer over the top of Robert Parrish, who was a little bit concerned and uneasy guarding a guy out by the 3-point line. I'm sure that for Purdue, it'll be a problem moving his feet when Terry puts it on the floor.
And Phil Jackson has already spotted that initial mark of the game, and so Scott Williams out of North Carolina has come in the game. So already a quick adjustment early on.
The chess match just begins.
There it goes. Mills gives the Pistons a lead at 22-11.
Does this mean that there now will be a Quinn bar because Quinn failed to make it to the studio in New York?
Knowing him with that big Dallas job now, I'm sure he's going to request something. That may be in his contract already, huh?
A little bit of pressure. Sometimes they go 2-2-1 and trap the Pistons. Other times they show it, but it's not for real. It's the fake trap. Then they go back and match up, trying to use up time off the 24-second clock. Already down to 10. They're just getting into their set now.
And here's Scott Williams, known for defense and rebounding. Pippen is drawing the defense of Robertson. Now the shot clock at 1. Jordan's got to fire. Williams there, the rebound. Jordan will clean it up, then put up a 22-footer. Williams with another rebound, and his presence felt immediately.
Chicago a little bit bigger on the glass, that time outnumbering the Pistons 3-1 on the boards, and unfortunately the one Piston, Dennis Rodman, all by himself. Alvin Robertson had been hit that time as he went for the loose ball, was out at the half-court area.
Rodman leads the NBA in rebounding, and 19 a game. He's got 2 so far in the game. Missed Thursday against Denver. Isaiah Thomas with the shot clock at 6. Mills. Inside by Williams. Nonetheless, Mills was able to make it work.
For all the coaches out there who talk about ball fakes, pump fakes, as you watch Terry Mills during this afternoon's game, you'll see him use an assortment of moves around the basket to try and draw fouls.
Scottie Pippen puts it in. Leading assist man on the Chicago Bulls. Here you got the point guard on Chicago, the 3rd man in assist behind Jordan and Pippen. Rarely do you see that. And there's Dumars against Jordan. Once again down low on the blocks to Mills. And Williams once again. Terry Mills puts it in. He's got a team high, game high, 12 points from the field, 5 of 5.
Terry Mills uses 2 pump fakes, 1 pump fake, changing up his assortments of moves down low in the low post area, trying to keep his defender off balance. This time he shows it once and then goes up immediately. He'll saddle back in, get as low as he can, and then up and over the top for the jump.
Last 6 games he's been averaging 20 a game, Mills, and now he's defending Williams, who's a bit short. There's a Robertson rebound. Rebounding in the game, the Chicago Bulls with 5, Pistons with 8. Mills again, down low, isolating, now to the double team by Armstrong, but nonetheless a great move to the baseline.
As you've watched Terry Mills over the course of the season, and I do the Piston games as well on local TV, so I've had a chance to see him quite a bit. He keeps showing new things that you don't know he can do. I think as a young player, he likes the idea that he's still developing, finding these new skills.
Rodman with his 3rd rebound. Thomas on the outlets. It's a 3 by Isaiah Thomas. He's got 7. The Pistons have just missed 3 shots in the 15 they've taken. Now the double on Jordan. This match against Thomas and a shove on Isaiah's part and a foul called on Isaiah Thomas. Terry Mills so far in the game has put in 14.6 of 6 from the field.
You want something a little different? Fake to the lane, and then I'm going to show you my left hand that I've been working on my hook with my left hand. The coaches have been spending time with me before practice and after practice, and it pays off.
Now they're
Terry Mills.
Stacey King to take him out.
Well, one thing that Phil Jackson will do with Bill Cartwright out, he will not hesitate to experiment and see which one of his other big people it gets off to a good start, whether it be Will Perdue, whether it be Scott Williams or King down to the post. He'll put him in there, give him a chance to earn minutes.
Armstrong left free because the double. He hits the 3-point shot. And he's got 7 for the game. The young guard out of Iowa, born in Detroit, Michigan. So he's got a lot of roots in this area.
I think the young man has settled any doubts that people may have had whether or not he can shoot the basketball. And the nice thing is he has continued to improve on his range, now well out beyond the 3-point line, and a very good shooter from there.
John Paxson still injured, although they expect his return here in the next couple of weeks. Robertson and Jordan knocks it away. Williams, rather it's King to Armstrong. Detroit got back well on defense.
Excellent job in transition defense, stopping the basketball, picking it up, and then finding the other open players.
The offensive-minded King into Mills with the shove, and that's his patented shot.
Stacey King is good enough to command a double team down low. Detroit does not like to double team early in basketball games. They like to play straight up, see if they can stop their people and avoid the double teams, which then gets them storming around. That hurts them on the glass because they're small as it is.
Pistons by 12. They've led by as many as 17, and this is a tray. And the miss by Dumas. They'll call it delay a game, I'm sure, on Dennis Rodman, who tosses the ball into the stands. Timeout, 32-20. The Pistons commanding.
Welcome back. This is Ahmad Rashad here in Auburn Hills, Michigan. Now, the bench team for the Detroit Pistons, they have a thing that they do to get everybody together. Olden Polynice told me that they call themselves the neckbone crew because when in the country, when you eat a chicken, you save the best part for last, and that's the neckbone. So that's why they call themselves the neckbone. They took another step today. Olden was in the shower shaving the heads of the neckbone crew. I finally got Danny Young over to the side and I said, well, why did you do this? He said, well, one thing is for unity. The other thing is this $600 check that he got from Olden Polynice for shaving his head. Olden wanted to shave my head, but I'm not about money. Kevin?
Kevin reminds me of the United States Olympic volleyball team rallying around Bob Samuelson, shaving their heads. So the unity factor.
Indeed. With Mike Fratello and Ahmad Rashad, Kevin Harlan, the Palace of Auburn Hills. And Detroit has jumped off to a nice lead over the Chicago Bulls. And there's a Chicago turnover. 1:39 remaining. We're in the first quarter of play. And look at the great shooting by the Detroit Pistons as a team 13 of 16 from the field.
The great hands of Alvin Robertson in there getting a piece of the ball, knocking it off the leg of Stacey King.
Bulls are 9 of 20. That's 45%. Jordan the steal. Mills knocks it out of bounds. Chicago's ball.
It's very interesting that at this point in the game, with the 3rd best overall rebounding team in the NBA, we're talking about Chicago, they have yet to grab a defensive rebound because Detroit shooting the ball so well. All 5 of theirs are offensive rebounds.
What about this big lead early in the first quarter of the game for Detroit, leading by as many as 17 moments ago?
Very unusual for the Pistons, and it's been a problem because Ronnie Rothstein, as Scottie Pippen pulls up on the jumper and misses. Rothstein has been trying to rest the guys who are the older players. BJ with a 3. Ronnie's been trying to rest the players, but the problem is they get behind. They're always 2 down, 4 down, 6 down, so they got to catch up, and you don't feel comfortable with your main guys on the bench. This is unusual for them.
Mills with 50 seconds remaining. We're in the first quarter of play. Lysa now against King, and Mills is hit from every place and right out from outside. He's hit down low, on the wing, and now from 20.
A little bit of everything. The in-between shot, a couple post moves down low, step out now close to the 3-point line. He forces you to come out and play him, and now when he adds the ability to put it on the floor, watch out.
Jordan with the 3-point miss. Robertson has it. Mills will position himself down low with a career 16 points in this quarter. This is Joey Dumar knocking it in. Joey Dumar with 11 points, and the Pistons up their lead to 13. Shot clock 14, big clock 17, a difference of a couple.
BJ will try and break Isaiah down. If you pull somebody, kick out for a 3, try to end the quarter with a big score.
Mills with the defensive play, and he is having maybe a career quarter today.
Help defense. Always a sign of great defense by the Pistons, helping each other out. Now Terry Mills, watch Jordan on the back cut or lob at the end of a quarter.
A little too late as Mills goes down court. Terry Mills began the month of March with 41 points. And today, 16 in 1 quarter of play, and the Pistons on top, 36-23 over the world champion Chicago Bulls. The Palace of Auburn Hills with Mike Fratello. This is Kevin Harlan taking the place for just today of Marv Albert, who is snowbound out east. Coming up next, catch the special sneak preview of the new home video. Michael Jordan airtime. We go into the thoughts of the great superstar, his activities on and off the floor. Michael will serve as our guide through this whirlwind journey. Don't miss the sneak preview next on NBC. Jordan was 7 through 1 quarter. His Bulls trailed by as many as 17. And Detroit, Mike, I don't know if you've seen them shoot like this in 1 quarter of play. 83%. And at one time, a 17-point lead over Chicago.
Coming into this basketball game, Detroit as a team 24th in the NBA from the floor, just under 46%, so I'm sure they welcome all these shots going down.
Here's Mills with a 2-on-1 to Palinix.
Well, there's one more thing that Terry Mills shows you, his ability to make a pass, 2-on-1, decision-making time, you power forward in your center, and they convert. That's a good sign.
Chicago by 15, rather Detroit by 15. Williams, who takes the place of Purdue, who started. Pippen picked up by Robertson. King inside with some muscle, and he gets it to work. Second time he's thrown that kind of shot up. He's 2-2.
One of the concerns for Ronnie Rothstein, I'm sure, is who do you substitute first for? Isaiah, Joe Dumars, Alvin Robertson. They've played the entire first quarter. You have to give them a blow eventually, but things have been going so good. As a coach, you want to keep them out there. You'd like to maintain the lead.
Here's Mills into King with the shot clock showing full. Terry Mills is on fire. He has a game-high 18, 8 of 8 from the field. King again, his first miss. Mills battling with Williams out of bounds. It's Detroit's basketball.
Already hampered by injuries, the Pistons with Mark McGuire going down yesterday in practice, re-injuring. Okay, the foot, that had been a problem, knocked him out of a couple of games. Dennis Rodman in and out this season with personal problems and injuries. So now going with this small lineup and it paying off as well as it has paid off. Ron Rothstein has to make a decision. Do you bring in Melvin Newbern, a young man who joined the team during midseason? How many minutes do you play him when you do bring him out there?
This time Mills has 2 in his face, and that was enough to alter the shot. It'll be Chicago's basketball. Bulls maybe a bit slow to come back and take advantage of what maybe a double team could do against Mills and douse him a bit.
I'm sure that what Chicago's going to do now is change up how they try and defend Terry Mills. One of the things you talk about at that timeout at the end of the first quarter, you don't give him the same look the entire game. A nice pass in the end by Scottie Pippen. One of the reasons why he leads the team in assists.
They wanted to get some offense, so King comes in. He's got 6 quick points off the bench, and he's 3 of 4 down low. Pistons by 13. 2 minutes gone, second quarter of play. Joey Dumars for 3. Williams cleans it up for Chicago. And here comes PJ, and the Bulls are running. Scottie Pippen fumbles it out of bounds. Just into the second. Pistons holding on to a 13-point lead.
Ahmad Rashad back here in Auburn Hills, and as you can see by this sign, the fans here are all let down by the fact that Marv Albert is not here. Mike and I are let down by that fact either, because he has been our fearless leader for the last couple of years. We thought he would never do something like this to us. But one thing we did find out, that it wasn't only us who was let down by Marv not being here.
Will you personally be affected by the fact that, or do you miss the fact that Marv is not with us at this time? Is that bothering you down deep inside it? Is there a hurt feeling?
Marv?
Do you know who Marv is?
Marv who?
Just thought I'd mention it.
Well, I'm pretty sure I feel this, as other people feel that, we've been let down by a person who we always could count on. We had done that for 25 years, and it was saddened that, it had to happen this way, but show must go on, and certainly this guy's human now, and must give him some leeway in the future that he's not always going to be there for us, so we got to carry the weight by ourselves. So Marv, wherever you are, hope you're watching. You let us down, but we're going to carry the show anyway.
Well, the truth of the matter is I really didn't miss Marv, because for the first time in 2 years, I had the Marv Albert squeak. Mike?
Matt, there are times that I have thought about maybe should I go back in coaching, but I'm finally finding out how enjoyable this job really can be.
Thank you. This is Bill Lambier. And the rebound by Scott Williams with his former Carolina running mate, Michael Jordan. Dumar's on. Mills is out of the game for Detroit, but he leads with 18 points and an 8 of 9 furious start. This is Trent Tucker now with the shot clock down to 7. And Deere knocks it away. Jordan comes up with a shot clock at 1 for Trent Tucker's 3. Bulls keep it alive. There's Scottie. Alley-oop. Jordan. No, and he misses inside. Picked up by Scottie Williams. A 3. Scottie Pippen.
Well, if you keep giving him 2 and 3 shots at the basket, this team is eventually going to put it in the basket and score against you. You must block out. Right now, it's Bill Lambier on his own trying to get on the glass. Polonese must help out. Those guards have to get down in there and help out.
Isaiah Thomas had the option of the pick and roll, but took the shot himself as they double Lambier down low. And the Pistons back to a 12-point advantage. And a 20-second timeout called by the Chicago Bulls. They're going up top for Michael.
This one gets thrown a little bit higher than normal, and Michael, as normal, finds a way of just getting up there a little bit higher. Almost controls it for the tip. Just can't quite get it done. Then the offensive rebound gives him one more opportunity. Pippen, another guy who has improved his outside shooting and obviously much more confident in it.
Mike, when you take a look at this rivalry, which still remains very intense, but the meaning of it, does it still have the same lofty meaning that it had a couple years ago?
Prior to the game in the locker room with Isaiah Thomas, I happened to ask him that question, is the same meaning there? He said, let me put it this way. If Cleveland should happen to go on and win the East and then win the whole thing, that wouldn't bother me all that much. He said, you know what I'm saying? Like, we won 2 championships, they've won 2, at least we're even.
Jordan to Pippen to Tucker. Shot clock again to 6 and a 3 by Trent Tucker. He's one. He's a top 10 3-point artist in the NBA, and there's Robertson cleaning it inside. Dumars.
Well, it took a lot of courage for Dumars to throw the pass. Number one, because there was a defender in his face, another Bull running back hard. But then Polonese has had a problem this season catching the basketball. So as a guard, you become leery of throwing difficult passes to him. That time he made the good catch and the conversion.
We'll switch defensively now. Polonese goes on Pippen. Lambier fronts him and into Scottie Williams. I see some defense by Detroit that maybe has been lacking a little bit this season.
It's that extra effort. It's the swarming defense. It's the covering for one another. This team has slipped defensively immensely from what you used to know the Pistons as regarding their total team defense. And one of the problems, a big problem they have, is this team is last in the NBA in block shots. Normally they were right up at the top in opponents' field goal possession. Right now they are 21st in the league. People are shooting almost 49% against them.
It's surprising to see how low they are in so many categories. Here's Pippen. We're at the 7:43 mark of the first half of play. And a whistle down low. It's called on Detroit. And Bill Laimbeer picks it up for the Detroit Pistons. Just coming in, taking the place of Mills. Let's watch it down low again.
One of the best at playing post defense, battling the guy, trying to knock him off his spot. Bill Laimbeer, that time Jake O'Donnell makes the call because Bill used his hand and pulled that lead arm of Stacey King.
Scottie Pippen now 7 in the game and 3 of 8 from the field. Pistons by 12. They've led by as many as 17. They shot 83% to start the game. Now they've cooled 76% for the first half. Nice fake by Dumar. Joey Dumar continues the outside shooting. He told me last night, now with Dumar's in 13, that these guards have got to shoot that jump shot and hit from outside for Detroit to be successful.
No question about it. And in particular, when you have Mills on the floor, who is an outstanding post-up player, it makes it even more important. Right now, with this group on the floor, there is not a real post-up threat for Detroit.
3-on-2. They're going to try the 3. And Joey Dumars has just scored his 10,000th career point. And what a way to do it. 16 points for the start of the game. 10,000 career for Joey Dumars.
Any doubt about it, when Joe Dumars gets behind the three-point line, this young man is shooting now over 41% from the three-point line. He just waits a little bit and tees it up to see if anybody's open under the basket. Gets his feet set, and then it's sweet as can be. He feels it.
49-32, Detroit. Bob Lanier, in fact, is in the building today. Dave Bing has been a very successful businessman. Laimbeer, Vinnie Johnson, Joey Dumars reaching that lofty goal of 10,000 points for his career. Let's watch it again.
This is a Detroit team that a number of years ago never would think of taking this number of three-pointers in a basketball game. But as their confidence has built, and I think it goes back to the Portland series when they knocked Portland out in the championship, they did it with an arsenal of three-pointers. It built confidence in them as a team. They saw it was another weapon they had. This guy shooting over 40% from the three-point line.
46, in fact, over the last handful of games. 3 of 5 downtown for the Detroit Pistons today. Williams. He draws some traffic. Fake on Polynice. Jordan picks it up. And a whistle inside. Scottie Pippen will pick it up for the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan has started 3 of 9, and Bill Laimbeer and the defense proving to be very good for Detroit early on.
Watch the Detroit defense. The key is how many players can you get back inside the paint to help out there. Detroit tries to get 5 guys back in there. Everybody's below the foul line helping.
Thomas took it into a very congested lane. Comes out with King knocking him off.
Foul, number 21, Stacey King, his first team, second.
Detroit still from the field, 78%. There's Isaiah Thomas. There was a column in the Detroit paper a couple days ago talking about Thomas. Is he near the end? He's averaging a career low 16 a game. His turnovers among starting point guards, one of the worst in the NBA. How do you assess Isaiah Thomas now? As Ed Neely comes in an acquisition from Golden State a couple weeks ago.
After reading the article, the one thing that I was left up in the air about is you just don't assume Isaiah Thomas will ever be traded from the Piston organization. Yet there was a sentence in there about if I had the chance, I could still help a team win a championship where I am now in my career. Does that mean he wants Detroit to hurry up and rebuild and get to that point again? Or does it mean that I wouldn't mind going elsewhere, helping somebody else win a championship? Didn't understand that.
You mentioned Miami, if I'm not mistaken, in that article. There's Neely. And illegal defense called on the Detroit Pistons.
I thought you mentioned Miami about a new ice cream franchise that he's opened up.
When you look at these two teams, do they push the limit on the illegal defense? Are they always trying to challenge and gamble that maybe they won't be caught half the time?
If you understand the rules, you have players who have a lot of savvy about that, and if you take it and stretch it out as far as you can, have the ability to recover, both of these teams do it very well, then, you know, occasionally you're going to get caught, but both of them are pretty good at helping and getting back.
Scottie Pippen to Jordan, who's 3 of 9 with the start. And there's Dumar's his nemesis, and there's Darrell Walker. And he hits it. Grew up in Chicago, Walker did, and began the season with the Detroit Pistons.
Talked to Johnny Bach, the assistant coach from Chicago, prior to the game. He said, I never realized how much this guy holds, bites, grabs, hangs on to you. He said, when we got him, Michael Jordan told us after the first practice, thank goodness he's with us. I'm tired of him scraping my arms every time I go out on the floor when I had to play against him.
Jordan, what a pass into Ed Neely out of Kansas State. And the first 2 for Neely. And he is the first player in the NBA to be traded for after the year 2000 draft choice, 2001. Golden State will get something for Neely. Here's Thomas. And the shot clock down to 9 with under 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Detroit is led by as many as 17. Shot clock at 2. Foul called on the Chicago Bulls. Earlier, his second assist on the Chicago team.
Well, earlier we had mentioned about Pippen's ability to pass the basketball. How about this guy right here? Want to know why he's number 2 on this team in assists? Draws the double team, threads it right past Isaiah's outstretched arm.
Michael Jordan leaves with 7 points. 4:51 is the time remaining in the second quarter of play. Pistons have led by as many as 17. Now up by 14. Hannah, to begin the game, that Dork candy bar, which is selling like hotcakes. So at least he's marketing the product here, even though he can't be here in person. And you see today what Jordan, who has missed 7 consecutive shots after making his first 3, has done since. And Joey Dumar has gone the other way.
And neither one of these guards has really taken it to the basket today. Everything has been from the outside with both players, at least up to this point.
Mills back in the game. So is Rodman along with Robertson. Dumar's with the pass from Isaiah, who gets it back and into Jordan, puts up a flare. Neely shoves down Isaiah Thomas. It'll be the Pistons ball.
Now you might say, well, what a forced shot. No, this is just trying to make something happen. When you know you're in trouble, you switch it over, you try and get it around Michael's body and just get it up on the glass, hoping your guys wind up with it.
Will Purdue is checked back in the game. Here comes Michael. What a move by Isaiah Thomas. Michael Jordan, his first hit in 7 misses. Robertson the other way. Nice defense by Chicago. Bulls down by 12. They'll try to make it 10. Into Dumar's through traffic, weaving inside. Michael Jordan.
Twice in a row, Michael Jordan made you think off the dribble he was going one way and instead winds up going the other way. The save by Pippen starts the break. Isaiah's going to take a shot for the steal. Going right? Nope, sorry. Going left as Michael finishes with the left hand. And now again, right after that, his next offensive move, you think he's going right, up, the little hop, skip, and jump to the left-hand finish.
Jordan, first trip today to the line, 11 points. The leading scorer in the NBA, Michael Jordan. He's won 6 consecutive titles, going for his 7th, which would tie Wilt Chamberlain's all-time NBA record.
Something that Detroit had problems with in their last game was the full-court press. Chicago goes to it right away, and Jake O'Donnell calling the offensive foul after the aggressive double team. First pass in, the man on the ball and Jordan go double up. The offensive foul is called by Jake.
Isaiah Thomas picking up his 2nd personal foul. Chicago has stressed defense more than any one facet of their game. Michael Jordan is now on the bench. B.J. Armstrong has come back, and there's John Bach. He's the defensive coordinator, if you will, for this ball.
And also the guru of Horace Grant. John Bach mentioned before the game how much the team misses Horace Grant for a number of reasons. He's one of those guys that does all the small things. He calls him his warrior out there. He's their leading rebounder. He just makes the little things happen.
Pippen tried to force it. Detroit comes up with yet another big defensive play. Alvin Robertson leading by 9. This is about as low as it's been for the Detroit Pistons. They've been in double figures with the lead over Chicago most of this game. Mills has been a reason why. 18 points, 16 in the first quarter. Nice passing. It's off unsuspecting Rocket. That's a Detroit turnover. They've got 7 in the game. Chicago's got 7. Darrell Walker. He's got 4.
Darrell Walker was not brought in to Chicago to be a scorer. He was brought in to supply some of that energy that they're missing from Cliff Livingston, who left the team from last season. Walker searching for a teammate, but you don't see this happen very often. Perhaps practicing with Michael helps you play like Michael.
The adversity the Chicago Bulls been facing, this coaching staff, this team, the bench was somewhat knocked away with the unloading of Hodges, Hansen, and Livingston. Tell me about Chicago right now. Where do they stand? How have they dealt with the adversity of all the injuries this season?
It's the first time that they've been put into this situation. They were a team that was very comfortable. They had avoided injuries for the most part in the 2 seasons that they won the championship. This year with Cartwright going down and with Paxson going down and bringing in the 3 new players. Then one of the new ones that they were counting on heavily, McRae, goes down with an injury. It's been disruptive, yet on the other side of it, Phil Jackson finds a way of finding a positive note. It's given other guys the chance to step up, perform, and now at least he feels that when it gets to playoff time, he knows what they can do.
Last year, just 45 games is what they missed, player games missed because of injury. It's changed. There's Melvin Newbern, a kid out of Minnesota, 2 years in the CBA, and he has surprised some people joining this team in strides on 2 10-day contracts. Purdue now flashing with some defense on Dumars. Wild pass to Robertson. And Chicago's defense is beginning to stiffen, a 7-point Piston lead.
It's obvious that they want to take the ball out of the hands of Joe Dumars, who had the hot hand. The 2 officials right now are talking it over on the baseline to decide who they're going to award the ball to. There's the attempted double team. Joe tries to find Alvin Robertson on the other side. Was the ball touched last by Robertson, or was it touched last by the Bulls? Rotating over, Pippen trying to help out a little bit.
Joe Forte, our referee, has the ball. A longtime ACC referee, and Jake O'Donnell is probably the best in the business. 1 second to shoot with 3:03 remaining in the half, so it's going to have to be a quick one by Detroit. Robertson to inbound. Pippen in his way. Mills. His 2nd consecutive miss. Neely. There's Newbern. His hustle has earned him a spot on this team.
Dumar comes in as a big point guard, but he's also played the 2 guard and the small forward position with all the injuries to Detroit.
And some ragged play, 2:45 left in the second. 8 turnovers in the game now for the Detroit Pistons. Walker, nice fake on Newbern. Finds the gap and banks it home.
Sometimes when you get emotionally charged up for a basketball game, you make some things happen that don't happen on a normal basis. Right now, Darrell Walker comes in, supplies 3 quick scores for Chicago.
A 13-0 run by the world champion Chicago Bulls. Walker. Neely for 3. I was going to say, if he hits that, you got to start questioning what's going on.
Well, he looked to the right, he looked to the left. There was nothing happening. He said, why not take a chance? Maybe it's my afternoon.
Put it up. Under 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Detroit began the game 83% from the field. They've cooled to 66%. Nice mismatch. Robertson against Neely. Mills drawing the double team now. Newbern. This will be a 2-point shot. Alvin Robertson. That stops a 13-0 Chicago run. Travel on Will Purdue. 9 Chicago turnovers. I guess when you've got size 22 feet, sometimes it's hard to get those things going.
Will Purdue meeting the physicalness of Terry Mills. Doesn't look to me like Terry bumped him that hard. Joe Forte didn't think so. He calls the travel.
Michael Jordan back in with 12 points. It's Armstrong against Thomas. Flash defensively now by Neely. Shot clock at 10.
Red!
Isaiah Thomas with 3. Rebound by Michael Jordan. He claims his first of the game.
That's what's happened so often to Detroit, that they wind up taking a long shot with the shot clock running down. forced into a jump at that time with 4 seconds remaining on the 24-second clock.
Walker wide open because the defense had sunk, and here comes Isaiah Thomas.
And only the 4th rebound to this point for Dennis Rodman. The nice lead pass by Isaiah to Terry Mills, running the center lane down the middle of the floor.
Thomas the assist, that'll be his 6th of the game. And Mills a game high 20 points. Michael Jordan. Jordan has 14 to lead Chicago. Bulls just under 50% from the field. Robertson for 3. Jordan is there again. Pistons led by 17 to start this game. Now their lead has been shaved down to 7. It was as close as 5 moments ago. So the Bulls have brought this one back. That's the time remaining in the quarter. Double. And the foul. That's called on Isaiah Thomas. But what a pass he had moments ago.
Let's go back and look at the foot race here between the defensive player, which is Purdue, the offensive player, Mills, who's trying to get to that open spot on the floor. Isaiah finds him with the perfect bounce pass.
Mills gives them a great presence down low. Isaiah with 3 personal fouls will take a seat on the Ron Rothstein bench. 6.7 remaining in the first half. Dipping out there with Armstrong, King, Jordan along with Tucker. They got their shooters out there. But Detroit's got their defense out there, and they held them off. And the Pistons go to halftime with a 7-point lead. Terry Mills with 20 points. His career high is 41. Detroit's best shooting half of the season. 62%. Mills, one of the reasons why. And the Pistons lead by 7. Leading at 54-47. With the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratelli, this is Kevin Harlan, pinch hitting for Marv Albert. Again, as we told you at the top of our broadcast, he is snowed in. I don't know how to. He's in trouble. He is buried under all kinds of snow. He'll be with you folks next week down in San Antonio when the Knicks and the Spurs play. So you will have your partner back. But interesting first half with Detroit going up by as many as 17 points, and the Chicago starters struggled in that first half.
Well, 2 mini explosions by the Detroit starters, one being Terry Mills, the other Joe Dumars, and if it wasn't for the bench of the Chicago Bulls outscoring Detroit's bench 16-4, they wouldn't be in this basketball game right now.
Statistically, a lot of interesting numbers, too. For instance, Detroit shoots their best first half percentage, 62% all season long.
Well, that's the one number that has made the difference in the first half, because when you look at all the other categories, it's a very even basketball game. So I'm sure one of the things that Phil Jackson has talked to his team about at halftime is they must get up, put a little bit more pressure on, and then relax. They're going to come back to us, because normally the Pistons only shoot just over 45%.
So the Detroit Pistons holding on to a 7-point lead at halftime. The Bulls are coming up from behind and playing well, and it's 54-47. The Detroit Pistons. Our second half is coming up on NBC. Detroit Pistons on top 54-47 with Mike Fratello. This is Kevin Harlan and Ahmad Rashad from the Palace of Auburn Hills. This is a second meeting between these two. First time Chicago has been here. And let's take a look now at the Miller Genuine Draft halftime statistics. And the big name has been Terry Mills for the Detroit Pistons.
Mills having an outstanding game from the floor, 9 for 11. The team overall shooting 62%, which we've mentioned is way above where this team normally shoots.
He has added a force inside. And for the Chicago Bulls, off the bench, Darrell Walker.
You normally expect Darrell Walker to come in and contribute with other things like good defense, forcing turnovers to take place, but he's gotten them 6 big points here, and their bench has gotten them back into this basketball game, outscoring Detroit 16-4.
There's Michael Jordan of Chicago, who hit his first 3, then missed 7, then hit a couple. And he's got 14, topping the Bulls, and Mills with the 20. But then look at after that, Dumars and Thomas with a combined 26. You know, which leads me to this point about making this a simple game, breaking it down, coming down to the most common denominator for Detroit. Is it the shooting of the guards?
Well, we mentioned in the beginning, sometimes it gets so simple with Detroit. It comes down to when the guards are shooting well, they do well. If you just count Dumars and Isaiah 10 for 16 between the two of them, if you throw Alvin Robertson in there, who plays some minutes at the guard spot, they are 12 for 21, those 3 players, Dumars, Thomas, and Robertson, which is just over 57%, and that's why they hold this lead. Now, they also played a lot of minutes in that first half, those 3 players. Let's see if the fatigue sets in and they tail off here in the second half.
Season high 62% shooting for Detroit. Terry Mills He's doing everything on the blocks, in the lane, outside from as far away as 20 feet.
Immediately, Chicago extends its defense, tries to put a little bit more pressure, tries to get Detroit to have to take shots with the clock running down, those long jumpers that we talked about at the end of the first half.
8 on the shot clock for Mills as he goes against King. Now gets some help from Pippen. Mills has been hitting shots like that all day long.
10 for 12 from the floor for Terry Mills, and they go right back to the man that carried him in the first half, trying to get him off, get him involved to start the second half.
Rodney McCray came up from Dallas. He was a very underrated player, but he has struggled for the Bulls this year. Just 25% from the field over the last handful of games.
You can't put Rodney McCray in the role of trying to be a main scorer. That's not his game. That's not his style of play. He really doesn't want that responsibility. He just wants to be a piece.
You mentioned Terry Mills, 10 of 12 from the field and 22 for the game.
Right off his chest, man.
Into Jordan, guarded by Dumars. So much was made of the clash these two great players had a couple years ago, the Jordan rules, and that time Jordan puts it up and in. He has 16 for the game as we start the second half.
And as I mentioned, Detroit will try to stay at home, meaning they play straight up, don't double team immediately. But if Chicago continues to send Michael Jordan down low against Joe Dumars, they will have to come back and trap, and it will come from an assortment of angles. Don't give Jordan a steady diet. He's too good. He reads it too well.
They like to go down low to Mills as Michael Jordan will be positioning himself underneath the basket. But what kind of defender is King? What's he going up against in Stacey King?
Well, Stacey King has gotten better as a defender. Jordan with the deflection as they tried the little backdoor move. Michael smiled at Isaiah that time saying, yeah, you tried to get me, thinking he was going to pop out. But no, he ran the backdoor. Dumars, Michael got the piece. I was saying King has gotten better as a defender, doing a better job of putting his body on his man as Joe Dumars knocks out another jumper.
Dumars with 18 three-point shooting now, 4 of 6 for the Detroit Pistons. That opens things up. You shoot from outside, that opens up things inside. And Terry Mills has benefited from that. Plus his inside plays open up the outside game. And the shot clock is down to 5. 3-second violation.
I like that move by Detroit that time. As soon as Pippen went down and posted up, Mills went and doubled him right away. The thinking there, Phil Jackson probably going to try and get Scottie Pippen more involved. Only 3 for 8 in 23 minutes in the first half, 7 points. Let's get Scottie more involved. Detroit was ready for it. Detroit said, let's not get him involved. Let's go double him immediately, take the ball out of his hands. That's what they did.
We're looking for Rodman, but McCray knocked it away, and they got a 2-on-1 with Jordan in the defense by Isaiah. That is Dennis Rodman's 5th rebound. He's averaging 19 a game, and Dumars with a spot-up jig. Joey Dumars with 20 points for the Detroit Pistons. 11-point lead for Detroit. King.
Back a moment ago and watch how Mills took the ball out of the hands of Scottie Pippen. His man cuts through, Mills watches, and then immediately goes back and traps the basketball, forcing Pippen to give it up. No chance for him to get a shot off, get it out of his hands. The violation takes place.
Gray is gone, and there's Scott Williams with the ball. Armstrong. Rodman with his 6th rebound. Isaiah on the fly. There's a foul. Do you know we've had only 7 free throw attempts in this game, 1 by Chicago and the others by Detroit?
That's because so many of the shots have come from the jump shooting position or fadeaway jumpers down in the low post area. Not a whole lot of driving, slashing to the basket.
Timeout taken on the floor. Isaiah Thomas will be at the line when we come back. 9:17 is the time here in the 3rd quarter of play. The Detroit Pistons holding on to an 11-point lead, 60-49. Terry Mills with 22 points, leading everyone in the game today. Jordan and Thomas with a little bit of chatting here as we resume play early in the 3rd quarter. Thomas shy. 2 NBA titles, 2 MVPs in the All-Star game. MVP of the playoffs back in 1990. It's got to be hard for a player like Thomas, perhaps the best little man ever to play the game, to see his skills erode as he's had to be, obviously watching on tape, reading in the paper.
When you talk to him, he's so realistic and so knowledgeable about what the league is about and what goes on and how players, he talks about the fact that Robertson, with another steal, that he has been to the pinnacle. So there is no disappointment for him. He knows he's growing older. It happens to everyone.
It's a 3 for Joey Dumar. 23 points, a game high. And from downtown, he is gone 2 of 3. And that's Williams inside. They don't count on him a lot for scoring, but his defense and his rebounding seem to be his calling card. When he scores like that, what a minor bonus that is for Chicago.
You still know that they are not going to continue to go down low to Scotty Williams more than just a couple times, because the focal points of the Chicago team are Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen.
Pistons began 8 of 8 from the field. In this third quarter, they are 4 of 4, and that's their first miss right there of the second half. 8-10 in the third. Michael's got 16. BJ's got 10. Shot clock down to 10 now. Dumar's against Jordan. 18 points from Michael Jordan. He's beginning to warm up after missing 7 in a row in the first half.
Joe Dumars has great strength. He's a small, compact package, but very, very strong. That time, Michael Jordan took him down the baseline to show you the strength of Michael Jordan. Used his left arm to move Dumars back a little bit, and then his height to jump over the top and get the shot. At that time, Isaiah Thomas with a most difficult shot. He drew contact. He was just trying to get to the foul line, and yet still made the shot.
11 points for Isaiah Thomas. King against Mills. Williams with his last one. It's nothing there.
And that's why I said they will not continue to go back to Scott Williams too many times.
Robertson can sneak with the best of us. And there's a rebound claimed by Scotty Williams. Nice mismatch. And they took advantage of it. They had Mills on Armstrong, and the speed and quickness of Armstrong played to his advantage.
It's one of those times where a guard gets himself in an awkward position. He knows he can go by Mills. Mills should just give him a little bit of space, make him shoot it up over the top. The one thing he was trying to do, draw contact. He got that out of it. He also got the basket out of it.
12 today for Armstrong. 20 consecutive games of double figures. I sense that Armstrong, with Paxson starting at the point, that perhaps he was growing a little bit weary of always being on the bench and always coming off, and he really strived to be a starting point guard in this league. Now he's got it.
Now they need to clear this up, whether or not this basket counts, because the ball never went through the bottom of the net. And Ronnie Rothstein arguing that it was their own player that knocked it back up and through. The point counts when it clears the bottom of the net. It never clears the bottom of the net, and it is Williams who knocks the ball back out. There have been shots that have gone in when great shooters shoot the ball. They go in, they hit nothing but net, and it will come right back out of the net before it actually clears through. Therefore, the basket doesn't count. It's like a wraparound net effect. Again, Williams with the hand punches it back out before it counts. A little conference there with the officials. They count that basket.
And a three-point play by B.J. Armstrong. What a pass by Isaiah Thomas. Little mismatch against Pippen. And Dumars takes it low and out of bounds. 9 to shoot for the Detroit Pistons. Chicago has had 2 free throws today. Detroit has gone 5 of 8. Rebounding in the game. 19 for Detroit. 21 for Chicago. Thomas. Robertson unsuspecting of the pass. A turnover right there. And that'll be turnover number 10.
But a great idea by Isaiah, because he saw the man guarding the basketball, Allen Robertson, standing on the outside. As soon as Robertson passed it, he would just cut to the basket. It was kind of a give and go from out of bounds. That's what Isaiah saw.
Boy, top the key. Jordan is his most different. And Dumars shoved it, and a foul call on Joey Dumars.
Joe Dumars, because of the jump shot down on the baseline a few moments ago where Jordan pushed him off and cleared it, Joe that time tried to be a little bit stronger, tried to belly up a little stronger, knowing that Michael was going to use that left arm. That time, a little bit too much. Jordan knocked way off balance.
1 of 1 Jordan from the line, 18 points today. Dumar was quoted earlier this week in the paper as saying he likes Jordan on the right side because he has the baseline to use him to buffer. He said on the left side, that's when Jordan is deadly, but he's his most fearsome atop the key, where he has all kinds of options. 52 against Charlotte a couple nights ago.
I would say they did a pretty good job in the hospital of clearing up that infection between the 2 toes.
Do you agree the comment by Dumar is that atop the key, Jordan has so many things available to him, it's virtually impossible to stop him?
Let me put it to you this way. There are a number of philosophies on how you stop Michael Jordan. The man has won 6 straight scoring titles, so you take whichever one you like.
Isaiah guarded by Jordan. Jordan leads the league in steals. Dumar's with Walker on him. Walker is starting the first half. That was a 3 attempt and a foul called on Walker, as the Bulls have crept to within 8.
Remember Johnny Bach mentioned to us, Darryl Walker loves to come out and put his hands all over the players that he's guarding just to annoy him, to bother him. Watch, immediately the hand goes on the arm, he bothers him, he holds a hand on the hip that time, hand on the elbow that time, and the foul is called.
He had 7 free throws attempted between the 2 teams in the first half. Far more here in the second. What has changed to put him in that kind of position?
A couple things. One, the team's taking the ball to the basket a little bit more, not quite the same number of jump shots. Second thing, the defensive intensity has picked up a little bit more. Technical foul called that time by Jake O'Donnell on Alvin Robertson. The other thing is that the officials will try and tighten up the game, control the game a little bit more if they feel it's getting a little too physical.
Walk to the other end of the floor, and Michael Jordan will shoot the free throw on the technical on Robertson. 2 of 3 shooting today. Michael Jordan from the free throw line, and he has 19 points. He is averaging over 32 a ball game. Third quarter of play.
Alvin Robertson giving a look as if to say, I don't understand why I was hit with a technical. Joe Dumar's walked over to try and calm things down, and Jake O'Donnell just whispered to Joe. He knows why he got the technical.
Olden Polynice will take the place of Alvin Robertson. And Joey Dumars, one of the top free throw shooters in the NBA at the line. Dumars in the top 20. He's got a game-high 25 points. And the Pistons up by 9. Gibbons got 7. Jordan's got 20. Nice ball rotation, but the defensive Rodman closes the door. Double is king. Now he's got the single, and that's usually a shot he can make. And there to clean it up is Scotty Williams.
If there's one player that Ron Rothstein has to be concerned about on the floor, it's Isaiah Thomas. He went into the half with 3 personal fouls. With just under 6 minutes remaining here in the third quarter, he would like to get out of this quarter without Isaiah picking up another personal foul, so he has all 3 to use in that final quarter.
Walker picks up the personal foul.
Chicago has made a concerted effort to get on the offensive boards. The first shot is missed, but then Williams keeps it alive and puts it in.
Dumars the miss, and there's a rebound for Jordan. Pippen, King. 1, 2, 3, down it goes for 2, and the Chicago Bulls now trail 67-62.
Well, finally, a little bit of a transition game for Chicago. Ron Rothstein feels it coming on, so he calls for the timeout.
This is the closest the Bulls have been in a long time. Down by 5, halfway through the third. It was February 25th, and Dennis Rodman's name was prominently mentioned, going to a variety of teams. You see what he's doing today in the rebounding category. Missed a game on Thursday against Denver. Before the game, we had a chance to talk with him about all these trade rumors, and the question was posed, is it best for him to be elsewhere, not here in Detroit?
I think so. I think that I don't have any hate feelings towards Billy McKinney, Tom Wilson, anything like that, or the organization. I just feel like that everything that I worked so hard to have, and the people that gave it to me, seem like they've gone. You know, everyone has gone in different direction, and I feel like that Detroit's been great to me. They've given me an opportunity to allow me to go out there and help this city. The franchise and everyone with the organization to win championships, reach goals, and things like that. And I don't dislike the city. I don't dislike anybody. It's just that I feel like that it's a change. I need a change for myself than anything else.
Dennis Rodman is a young man who's had a very difficult year, both personally, some things off the court that have taken place in his personal life, then on the court, players who he was close to traded away, a new head coach comes in, he loses a guy who was almost a father figure to him in Chuck Daly. He doesn't want to really leave Detroit, yet on the other hand, he realizes that if he can't be here and give it 100% all the time, that's not the kind of guy he is. He doesn't want to let his teammates down. Moving on would be best for everyone.
Rodman missed the tip on the Polonese miss, and here's Scott Williams again. He's been a factor off the bench, really playing much better than Will Purdue. And it's a 5-point game. Bulls have trailed by as many as 17. Double-digit leads for the Pistons throughout the first half up until halftime when they led by 7. 83% first quarter shooting by Detroit. Bulls have kind of weaved their way back in this one. King trying for 2 and a foul called inside. Dennis Rodman will pick it up. McCloskey, you may bring up a good point. McCloskey leaves and Chuck Daly leaves, and that has affected him, you think?
No question. Dennis here playing defense down the low post area, up, challenging as Dennis plays post people as well as anyone in this league. He wants to call for the free arm push-off on King. But with the two people moving on, Jack McCloskey, Chuck Daly, they were the ones that brought Dennis Rodman into the NBA. They were the ones that helped him develop his game, his style of play, his role within the team. And then suddenly, when they move on, along with close friends like James Edwards, Vinnie Johnson, John Sally, all these things have affected him. Now, if you look on the back of his head, the little haircut today says "Bite the Melon," and we'll get to that a little bit later on as to what "Bite the Melon" means.
Let it go, let it go. Bite the melon is something that he was saying to people that were criticizing his play, and his response to the criticism he was receiving was, "Tell him to go bite the melon." They've had contests here on radio and TV stations in Detroit trying to actually derive the meaning of that. Here's Bill Laimbeer. Nice pass to Rodman.
They've had T-shirts come out, bite the melon, and Dennis trying to be very nice in explaining what it means. Just said basically if people don't like something that's going on.
Nice pass by Laimbeer on top to Rodman. Michael had a screen, back to double screen. Dumar's late getting there, and Michael Jordan puts it in. He's got 22, leading the Chicago Bulls. It's a 3-point game. Last time the lead was 4 or less was with about 3 minutes gone in the first quarter of play. That gives you a feel for how long this comeback for Chicago has been. It has taken time, and there's a foul. And it's called on the Bulls and on Scottie Pippen.
Let's go back to a moment ago. The jump shot by Michael Jordan. He goes down in low, gets himself lost in here, and then off a screen winds up clearing himself, hopping out for the jumper. Get lost, hide behind a screen. To just a split second, all he needs to find an open man.
3.5 left in the third. Laimbeer. That used to be an easy shot for him. I guess it still is.
He came back, gave him a big game in the last outing, 28 minutes after he had missed the previous 2 games. His back is still very stiff and sore, but the one thing he can do is stand still and shoot the basketball.
And they didn't cover him, and that was his trademark years ago. Michael Jordan puts it in. What a shot! 24 points for Jordan. He had 14 at halftime, so he's got 10 here in the third quarter alone. Golden Polonese. Moving by King. They knew his defense was somewhat questionable. Polonese gets his own miss, and he's fouled inside. Walker with the foul for Chicago. He is tagged with his third.
Well, we had mentioned that the Bulls would probably try to get Scottie Pippen involved here to start the second half, but this guy has taken it upon himself, talking about Michael Jordan, to light it up, heat it up, and keep the Bulls within striking distance of Detroit. The Bulls still need to get back to Scottie Pippen, only 7 points at halftime, still with only 7 points here as we wind down the end of the third quarter.
Golden Polonese, and you can see where he ranks in the NBA in free throw percentage. Interestingly enough, he was drafted in the Chicago-Seattle thing. Polonese was drafted by Chicago. Seattle, back in '87, drafted Pippen. They switched. So those two players on the floor right now have had divergent paths to where they have ended up. Pippen, a dream teamer, and Polonese has kind of struggled to find his niche in the league.
And it's a concern what we just saw. They got free throws, and there's Scottie Pippen getting a little bit involved here in the second half, third quarter. When we talked about that free throw percentage, it's a concern of Rothstein down the stretch, who he has on the floor.
Scottie Pippen with the rebound. We got a 2-point game. Closest it has been since a 2-0 lead. last tie was 6 apiece. From 18. And the Chicago Bulls have come back to tie. Walker with 8. Chicago down by 17 in the second quarter. The march has continued to a tie here late in the third.
Darryl Walker coming into the game was shooting 33% from the floor. He is 4 for 5 this afternoon.
There's a hack inside. And Stacey King draws his second personal foul at 1:57 remaining in the third. Chicago started the game 40% from the field. They've upped that now to 52%.
Well, Jordan heats it up a little bit. They've gotten some shots down close inside. Plus, they've gotten to the free throw line a couple times, which obviously, when you get fouled, it does not count as a shot attempt unless the basketball goes in the basket. So all reasons why their field goal percentage has come up, along with the fact that they have gotten a few more transition scores on fast breaks.
Colony's from Virginia. He is coming off one of his best games of the season. 20 points, 14 rebounds Thursday against the Denver Nuggets. And today, Olden Polynice has 5 points and 1 rebound. Scott Williams collects it inside. We are tied, and Chicago could take their first lead of the ball game. 1:45 left in the third. Pippen's warmed up this third. Scotty Williams. Pippen. Shot clock at 5 as you see. Jordan. Pippen keeps it alive. 24 seconds. Shot clock went off. It should not have because Jordan grazed the iron.
The ball did hit the rim, and this year a little change in the rules. In the past, it had been if the ball hit the backboard, there was a reset. This year, the ball must hit the rim to be a reset. It did hit the rim that time. There should have been a reset.
We've got a close game now, 72 apiece. Chicago about ready to take their first lead should they hit. And I'm wondering how Detroit is in close games. You follow this team as a local TV analyst.
This team has struggled and been in a number of close games. In fact, they have lost 13 games by 4 points or less. And if we had the time, I could explain, they've done it every different way you can imagine of losing 1, 2, 3, and 4-point games.
Jordan trying to go inside. Lambier met him. Nice defense by Bill Lambier. Here comes Melvin Newbern. Jordan's on him. Rodman knocks out Jordan. That's a steal and a 2-on-1 with Walker. And the Chicago Bulls have taken the lead for the first time, coming back from 17 down. A 19-point turnaround in the last 2 quarters. Chicago by 2.
You know, you mentioned close games by Detroit as Polynice tries to bank one in off the glass, and Bill follows it back in. They have 5 consecutive losses, Kevin, by 3 points or less going into this game.
Wow. And what's the difference? Why does that happen?
We talked about free throw shooting. They get down the stretch. There they are. They are like number 25 in the NBA from the foul line. Injury factors. They could use a Mark Aguirre out here right now to score some points for him, but he's on the bench. Rodman has missed games. All those things.
Traveling violation on Chicago and Scott Williams.
This guy may lead in scoring, but he also leads the NBA in steals. Michael Jordan with the deflection. Over to Darryl Walker for the score.
Now 32 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Michael Jordan today with 24 points. 10 of 21 from the field. 5 assists and 3 rebounds. Mills. Rodman. Difference of 7 seconds. Game clock to the shot clock as you see. Nice knock away by Pippen. Jordan with 10 with which to work. A 3 by Michael. And a foul called on the play on Joey Dumars. And just under 7 seconds remaining in the third. How has Chicago got back in this game as we try to trail the deficit of 18 to now a tie ball game at 74?
Michael, realizing that there's plenty of time on the shot clock, advances the ball, stops, pulls up behind the three-point line, and that's the sign of the great players trying to drive that stake through the heart of the opponent. Something that Larry Bird would do typically for the Boston Celtics. You come back, you get to the point of being even, and just before the quarter ends, let's drive that stake in. Let's knock out a three-pointer to really send them back to the huddle with their head down. But as you mentioned, what's some of the reasons? Well, Chicago has picked up their field goal percentage. They've gotten a little more help for Michael Jordan. For Detroit, who shot 62% in the first half, they're not shooting nearly as well. Remember now, Mills, 20 points in the first half, only 2 so far here in the second half.
Mills had a 16-point first quarter when the team hit 15 of their first 18 shots. That's the time remaining in the third. Thomas, wanted pass. Mills, Lambier at the buzzer. Yes! You couldn't ask for a better third quarter. Bulls coming from 7 down at the half. Michael Jordan, a tremendous third quarter of play. 12 points. And we are tied at 76 apiece. The Bulls, the Pistons, as the NBA continues on NBC.
Under 7 seconds remaining to end the quarter. You want to know how quickly you can advance the ball in the NBA? You think only one guy's going to do it? How many touches? 1 from Isaiah, 2 to Mills, brings it up the floor. Touch number 3, Isaiah, 4 Mills, 5 Lambier, and thank you, we'll take the 2 as we run off the floor. Teamwork, move the basketball, just under 7 seconds.
What about Lambier? Is this his final season in the NBA?
I would say last summer, he would have said, yeah, this is his last year. Now I think Bill Lambier feels that he could come off the bench on a regular basis, contribute 16, 18 minutes a ball game, and still be a factor. Keeps his body in very good shape, so I think he would like to play a couple more years in the NBA.
Well, Sports Illustrated once said he was the most detested professional athlete in modern sports.
Which is a tribute to Bill Lambier. You ask all those people, if any of them were coaches, and if you said, would you like to have them on your team, they'd probably say, yes, they would.
With Mike Fratello and Ahmad Rashad, this is Kevin Harlan from the Palace courtside at Auburn Hills. And Marv Albert, your normal host for these tremendous NBA games on NBC every Sunday afternoon, is buried under snow on the east. He'll be back with you next week for the San Antonio, New York game. That's a goaltend call. And the Bulls go up by 2, 78-76.
The elevation of Pippen to get up, and then if it's on its way down, good call that time by the officials. Mills takes it out of the air while it's on its way down.
Pippen now with 11. There's a foul, and I think Isaiah draws it. B.J. Armstrong, excuse me. B.J. is the one who gets the foul, guarding Isaiah Thomas.
Hard to determine sometimes if it's just reaching its peak or if it's coming down. That's what the officials are paid to determine. That one, a close call, I think a good one.
One of 12 children from Hamburg, Arkansas. Neely in the game, doubling on the wing. Lambier left free. He's got 8.
Does Dennis Rodman get an assist on that one?
I don't know. I'll check him on. Man alive. 9-78 now this game. Walker into Robertson. Rodman with the rebound. He's beginning to get warm. Rodman now with 8 rebounds and 2 points. He's averaging 19 a game. A little crossover there by Isaiah Thomas. And we're a minute and a half into the fourth quarter.
Sometimes you can over-penetrate a little bit too much. You get in the lane with a little tall timber and you can't really find a good shot for yourself.
Nice shot by B.J. Armstrong. 16 points for Armstrong. Last 3 games, he's been about 55% from the field, so he's feeling it. He is 6 of 9 today. Here's Mills. And the double by Neely and by King. They're really getting on Mills after he started out with a flurry that Bulls could not stop. Dennis Rodman.
Believe it or not, Dennis Rodman has really improved his offensive game this season. They actually run a post-up series for Dennis. Players have been looking for him a little bit more in the transition game. He has converted, shown a little hook at times, so he's putting a couple points on the board.
Alvin Robertson. Lambier's been left free, and he's hitting every time. Bill Lambier from the field, 10 points and 5 of 7 from the field. And Lambier's had some great entry passes as well.
If you draw the double team, it can look across the floor. That time it was supposed to go down low. A little deflection. Bill will take the assist.
Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
This genuine draft Miller moment takes us back to the first meeting of the season between the Pistons and the Bulls as Michael Jordan with that three-pointer in overtime won it for the Bulls 98-96, and Jordan finished with a game-high 37. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Drafts will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Another close game today. Jordan from downtown has gone 1-2. He's got a game-high 26, and when you look at close games, Detroit involved with one right now. They lead by one, but here is what has happened all season long in close games.
And there's a variety of reasons, as we mentioned before, why they have been in so many. Actually, it's 21, okay, that have been decided by 4 points or less. They have won 8 of those and lost 13 of them.
Michael Jordan by Dumar, he puts it down. 28 for Michael Jordan, and he gives the Bulls a 1-point lead.
Go back to that Miller moment. Remember the final score was 98-96, and that was at the end of overtime. So you can expect that in the fourth quarter here, the defense will tighten up. Points will be hard to come by.
Armstrong outracing Lambeer, and Chicago goes up by 3.
We talk about the ultimate in frustration. Bill Lambeer trying to run down a basketball with B.J. Armstrong on one side and Michael Jordan on the other side, chasing it. Bill knowing that if he doesn't get there quickly, it's a layup.
Armstrong is too shy of his season-high 20. What a pass inside. Lambeer from Isaiah Thomas. Thomas in the game now with 10 assists. Pippen backs off Rodman. That gives him the gap, and Rodman collects the miss. 9 rebounds for Dennis Rodman. We're approaching 8 minutes remaining in the fourth. Double and Mills. The defense of Chicago putting the clamps on Detroit. That has been the difference in the second half.
And you can see the adjustments by Phil Jackson and his staff. Now when the ball goes down to Mills, they come quickly. They come with another big man, so it's tough for him to get a clean look out of the double team.
Neely from King banks it in. Ed Neely, he's got 4.
I did not hear him call glass before that shot went up.
87-84. The Chicago Bulls lead by 3. You talk about frustration. Well, about Bill Lambeer.
Here it is. The ball is rolling in the backcourt. He's got the lead. He had the lead. They get the score.
He just lost the lead. Huh? Chicago with their biggest lead today. We're midway through the fourth. Here in the Palace of Auburn Hills, the Detroit Pistons have let go of a 17-point lead, and now they trail by 3. The NBA's biggest golfer, Michael Jordan, has his own celebrity golf tournament coming up. The 1993 Michael Jordan Ronald McDonald Children's Charity Celebrity Classic. It'll be broadcast live on NBC Sports on Saturday, August 28th and Sunday, August 29th. Funds raised from the event will go to the Ronald McDonald Children's Charities. This summer on NBC.
You know, I have played golf with Michael, and immediately afterwards he said he had never seen anyone with a golf game quite like mine.
You saw parts of the course you never thought existed, right? Nice move by Isaiah, getting by the double team and swerving inside. Foul called on Ed Neely. That'll be his second personal foul. Is there the same extreme dislike between these two teams, Mike?
I don't know if the, as I said, hatred is quite the same, but you have two very, very highly competitive teams here. One which held the title for a while that the other one was trying to get. Then the other team comes on and takes it away from them. You had so many heated matchups and rivalries, and I think what takes some of the edge off that is the way that Detroit has started this season out with a number of problems within the program.
It has been a very chaotic year for the Detroit Pistons. Michael Jordan for 3. They get the break, but the Bulls get back on defense, and there's Darrell Walker again. Neely scoops it up. Here comes B.J. Armstrong. He'll spot up from 15.
You know, I mentioned earlier that Darrell Walker has given them some of that energy that Cliff Levingston used to give them, but it comes in a different way. Levingston would be on the glass, setting big screens, get offensive rebounds for him. He'd lead the cheer just before they came out of the locker room. Darrell Walker does it by getting back in, stripping basketballs, and helping do all the dirty work.
Look at Isaiah Thomas. Pounding off bodies, and Isaiah now with 14 points, 9 assists. Let's watch it again.
Sometimes they take Isaiah out of the point guard role and put him into the scoring guard role. They used Bill Lambier as the feeder that time. The concentration, the off-balance shot in the bottom.
Got a foul shooting team is Detroit. You watch this team all season.
They have missed a number of big free throws. Isaiah, that time with the air ball, shooting 72% from the foul line. The team overall shooting just 71.8%, under 72% as a team.
And 50% today, 8 of 16. Chicago, 8 of 9. Not many shooting fouls we have seen today. In fact, only 7 shots in the first half. King swings it out to Neely. Well, Ed Neely's just given his Bulls a 5-point lead. He's got 6 for the game, and we're in the fourth quarter and halfway through it.
You don't think that you would bring Ed Neely in, a 25% shooter, since he's been in Chicago this season, as a jump shooting source for you.
Isaiah answers at the other end. And Isaiah's got 16. Detroit has lost 3 of their last 5 at home. King in traffic, and down it goes. And Chicago leads it 93-88. Bulls, in contrast, on the road, the best record of any team in the NBA, 20-10. They have won 7 of their last 8 road games. Isaiah and Jordan to Mills, who's been quiet in the second half. He remains that way. Robertson.
Don't worry about it.
With Mike Fratello, this is Kevin Harlan sitting in for Marv Albert, who will be with you next week at Madison Square Garden in New York, when 2 of the finest centers in the NBA, David Robinson for the Spurs, a red-hot team. They won again last night. Will take on Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks. The past few weeks, we've brought you 2 great matchups in the middle, Patrick and Shaq, Shaq and Mr. Robinson. And next week, it'll be Robinson and Patrick Ewing. That's next week, the NBA Game of the Week on NBC. 5.5 left in the game here. It's a 3-point Chicago lead. Second meeting of the season. First Chicago trip to the Palace this season. Jordan won it in overtime. Back in November with a 3. Nice dish off to King. And it's a turnover. It'll go back to the Detroit Pistons.
When Detroit had different pieces to operate with, and if starters were struggling, you could go to the bench, bring in a Vinnie Johnson. He'd suddenly get you 4 or 5 baskets. You could go and take a Mark Aguirre, who's still here, put him in the game. He could get you a quick 4 or 5 baskets. Missing pieces obviously hurt the team.
Isaiah Thomas has just tied this ball game.
Of the arsenal, the 3-point shot attempt between these 2 guards. They've made a number of big ones. None bigger than that. Isaiah Thomas still can do it when he has to.
All right, welcome back to Auburn Hills. Now, for those of you that think that you've seen everything that you could see on Michael Jordan, stay tuned right after this basketball game, where you'll see an inside look at Michael Jordan airtime, things that you've never seen before, right here on NBC.
Thank you, Ahmad. Michael Jordan today, 28 points, with Ahmad Rashad and Mike Fratello. This is Kevin Harlan from the Palace of Auburn Hills. 93 apiece on the Isaiah Thomas 3-point shot. King into Rodman with the drive, knocked away. Foul called inside on Dennis Rodman.
A few moments ago, Michael Jordan playing defense. Thomas with the basketball is going to feed the postman. Sometimes coaches want to get Jordan away from the ball. He leads the league in steals. This is what he does. He will come back, get a hand in and bother you. You can't decide if he's going to come hard or not. As a result, it affects the shooter. Sometimes you want to take Jordan and put him on the other side of the floor. Let somebody else feed the postman.
Stacey King now, 13 points. Michael Jordan in the game with 28. King has a 3 of 3 afternoon from the line. And the Chicago bench, including King, accounting for 35 of the Chicago points. Detroit with just 17. The bench has heavily favored Chicago. The starters, as Mike said at halftime, not really been able to grasp this game, but the bench has, and Chicago leads by 2 late.
That's the reason it's called team. Some nights you just have to call on somebody else to step forward, and when you have a deep bench, guys who can produce, it makes you a very good basketball team.
Look at Jordan stick with Thomas. Rebound by Walker.
Well, you know, Joe Dumars may have gotten off early, but when it comes to crunch time and Michael Jordan digs in on you, remember, he has already been voted Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA.
King. Neely, who's had some big shots down the stretch. Shot clock at 5, as you see. Neely. Pippen. Out of time. 24-second violation against the Chicago Bulls.
Good job that time of double-teaming Michael Jordan as he came off the screen. The shot clock had run down. What Phil Jackson is trying to emphasize to Michael is if they do it again next time, trap you, take the double team, pass the ball quickly, and then cut to the basket without it, look for a return pass.
Dumars. The Pistons today, 60% from the field. As we see Dumars trap the runner.
Joe Dumars can create more shots, invent shots in the air, and convert them. That's the big thing that amazes me. A lot of guys can invent shots, but they don't go down. The player just wants to draw a foul. Joe makes it go in the basket.
Game time. Jordan will try to break it. He is not. Dennis Rodman has it. 10 rebounds for Rodman. 3:10 left in the game. Detroit can take a lead with this possession. Inside. And Dumars will recock and reload this offense of Detroit.
We're talking with Alvin Robertson yesterday. That's one of those times where he said sometimes we're just a little bit too hasty to get shots up at the basket. We don't take our time.
Terry Mills should get credit for that because he knocked out 2 oncoming Chicago Bull defenders.
Well, it's a battle on the glass for Detroit, just trying to keep the ball alive to give themselves some extra shot opportunities. That time it pays off in a basket.
The Chicago Bulls trail Detroit by 2. 2:41 left.
First of all, Dumars, a little bit of hold again. Hold by Walker, but the floater high over the outstretched hand. Well, Michael Jordan must have heard us as he went by the table saying that guards can create and convert off balance. This goes in. No, it rolls out.
With the chaotic season that Detroit has had, as you can see, Dumars and Jordan just with 1 point separating them. Did you expect the Pistons to come out and play like this today?
The Pistons honestly believe that if they could get everybody healthy, play their tempo, their style, get everybody's head in tune with one another, on the same page. Robertson comes up with the steal. Because of the strength they have in that backcourt and with the addition of Mills, they can play with anybody. And I don't know a coach that wants to meet this team come playoff time if you get caught involved in high 80s or low 90-point games.
Jordan and Dumars. Thomas on Armstrong. The leaping leaner. 5 personal fouls on B.J. Armstrong. That's if Detroit gets in, because right now they're 10th out of 8 possible playoff teams.
Isaiah shows the ball. It's the body contact right there. Isaiah helped a little bit by leaning to his right that time, but that's with all the years. He's saying that Isaiah jumped in, that the defensive player should be entitled to go straight up and down.
Isaiah Thomas, 4 of 8 from the line. Isaiah with 20 points and 10 rebounds. The lone player on the floor with the double-double. 10 assists, excuse me. And he's got 21.
You mentioned that Detroit has a long way to go. The back hit, lob pass that time to Pippen, just a little bit too high as Detroit comes back at Chicago in transition.
Bulls going with the big defensive play. Bulls, every game important to them. There's 6 percentage points in back of New York for home court advantage through the playoffs. And the runner by B.J. A little bit shy. A foul called on the Pistons.
Terry Mills, his third, team fourth.
They called on Terry Mills, his third.
Michael sees the opportunity, gets that lob pass up there. The deflection by Alvin Robertson prevents the lob from being caught and converted by Scottie Pippen. We mentioned a second ago the difficulty that Detroit will have. This was a very deep week for them, having 3 home games in their building, because when this game is completed, they now go out and play at Sacramento, at Utah, at Phoenix, at the Los Angeles Lakers, and at Golden State. 5 in a row on the road. If there's a team that has an advantage coming down the stretch between all the teams fighting for that last spot, and that's Indiana, Miami, Atlanta, and Detroit, It's clearly Atlanta with the home court advantage in a number of their games. 12-9, I believe it is, left for them in favor of home court games.
A season-high 22 for P.J. Armstrong. Detroit holds on to the 2-point lead. Isaiah against P.J. Robertson is free. Jordan conversions. There's a foul on Michael Jordan. That will not count it. Jordan had no choice but to stop it.
Jordan very happy to take the foul outside, away from the basket, rather than have him get in closer and have the shot count. So he simply, once he realizes that Alvin with the pump fake gets the initial first step on him, he takes the foul there because he knows he's beaten. Pushes him to make sure that it's not going to go in, but it still goes in, but doesn't count.
Alvin Robertson will be at the line. He's played with San Antonio. He's played with Milwaukee and just joined Detroit. He's 2 of 3 from the line with 8 points. And you couple him with Isaiah Thomas. You are talking about 2 fine thieves in the backcourt. Steal leaders all time in the NBA.
But by fouling that time, what you did is you put Alvin Robertson on the free throw line, and for the season, he's just a 65% free throw shooter. So Chicago actually picks up a point on the exchange there by him only making 1 out of 2.
Bulls down by 3. 1:20 left in the game. Scottie Pippen dumps it off to King. Rather it's Williams, and inside Pippen banks it in. 1-point game. Pistons have it.
Chicago immediately gets up and extends its defense, tries to force a turnover in the backcourt, tries to keep the ball out of Isaiah's hands. They'd rather have Dumar or Alvin Robertson making decisions. They're not quite the same decision makers as Isaiah. So what happens now? Reverse roles. Dumar runs the show. Isaiah becomes the scorer.
Thomas on Armstrong, 6 to shoot. Little isolation. Rebound by Michael Jordan. Bulls could take a lead. Michael Jordan hasn't scored since 9-10 of this 4th quarter. And no miss as big as that one.
You could see as soon as the shot came out of his hand, it was flat, had no trajectory on it at all. And that could be fatigue, strength in the legs this time of the season.
Dumar's for 3. Timeout Chicago, 15 seconds remaining in regulation. The Pistons up by 1. Detroit led by 17. They trailed by 3. Now they hold into a 1-point lead. Bulls will have it when we come back.
Remember, Detroit has lost each of their last 5 games, which were decided by 3 points or less. They're up 1, 10 seconds left on the 24-second clock. Take it to the basket, draw contact, get to the foul line. Remember that Alvin Robertson said we launched too many shots at the wrong time. Although the 24-second clock was down at 4, then you've got to get a shot up. Perhaps you want to start it a little bit sooner, go into the basket, see if you can draw and kick out. Easier said than done when Michael Jordan's defending it.
What do you think Chicago will do here with 15 seconds remaining and down by a point?
One of the things I'd like to do is take Pippen from out of bounds, and after he passes it, I'd like to run him in and get him involved in the play. Here he is with the handoff.
Pippen isolating against Robertson for the lead.
As Detroit takes it in, Ronnie Rothstein will use a 20-second timeout to set something up. By taking a 20, he cannot advance the basketball. He must take it on the baseline. No question about it. If they don't get the steal, here's the quick pass, cut behind. They create the isolation for Pippen, who tries to go over the top of Alvin Robertson. One thing that Robertson will do, he'll fight you when the money's on the line. The ball up over the backstop, therefore it's Detroit's ball. Now, if Detroit does not like what they see when they come out of bounds with this 20-second timeout, they could take another full timeout and then advance the basketball.
Look at the timeout situation. Pistons with all the time in the world. The Bulls have got to deal with the 20, but the time right now, 8.5. And Detroit's possession.
If you're Chicago, there still is plenty of time. What you do is you go for the steal, you try and get it. If you get it, you have 8 seconds to try and make something happen. If you don't go get the steal, you foul immediately. Remember what we said, this team, Detroit, is number 25 in the NBA as far as free throw shooting. There are only 2 worst teams in the league. Detroit shooting under 72% as a team coming into this. Very dangerous taking the ball in the backcourt. by the other team's basket. Most guys would advance it up to half court just in case there were a steal.
Robertson to inbound. What a pass to Mills. He'll break away. And the foul's in the corner. Would you have taken it down?
Personally, I would have probably used my other timeout, taken the ball at half court, advanced it up there. The thought being that if they steal it up in the front court, they still have to dribble it down the floor and make something happen. That took a lot of courage by Ron Rothstein to execute that play. What he basically did is he suckered him in, set him up by running a straight line, having everybody come to the basketball, and getting Terry Mills free on a back pick, sent him to the open area of the floor where there was no one else left to pick off the pass. Dangerous. Rothstein with the courage to make the call. Now Detroit must make its free throw here.
Mills began the game with 16 points in the first quarter for Ron Rothstein. He went 7 of 7. He has 22 for the game, but just 2 in this second half.
And he's a good foul shooter. He's shooting 79% coming into this game from the free throw line. Chicago has no full timeout. They only have a 20, so they cannot advance the ball to half court. First thing they must do is secure the basketball if Mills should miss. If it's a make, I'm sure that Phil Jackson will use his 20, set something up, try and advance the basketball. Only 4.4 seconds remaining.
And the Pistons lead 101-99. 22nd timeout by the Chicago Bulls. And Detroit has done it on national TV against their arch enemy. Shot the best game from the field they've had all season long. 58% from the field.
If we go back earlier in the game, we showed a replay of Detroit taking the ball out with 6.8 seconds remaining. They had 5 people touch the basketball, counting the guy that inbounded it, and still got a jump shot off and made it right before the end of that quarter. So 4.4 seconds is plenty of time to advance it and get a good shot. Interesting, will Ron Rothstein put a man up on the basketball on the baseline, a big man, to try and bother the passer, or will he take him off the basketball and play 5 against 4 in the defensive end?
Now, do you circle Jordan on this play? He hasn't scored in 9 minutes. They tried Pippen last time. He missed it on the isolation against Robertson. What about Jordan this time?
You wanted to go to either Michael or Pippen on the initial pass because of their ability to, 1, advance it off the dribble, or 2, draw attention, and then pass the ball to an open person. You don't have all that much time to make a whole lot of things happen.
Last time these two teams met, November 11th, Chicago Stadium, overtime in a game 1 on a Jordan 3, 98-96.
Nobody on the ball. Look for the long touchdown pass.
The Pistons have beaten the Chicago Bulls.
You've got to finally feel a sense of relief that after being involved in 21 games decided by 4 points or less, after losing your last 5 losses by 3 or less, to finally come up and win one of the close ones, being shorthanded, getting some outstanding performances, there's got to be a sense of excitement.
Isaiah Thomas, a big game. He has 21 points, 10 assists to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Well, now, for everybody that thinks that this team has gone away, you guys showed today that when you get everybody going, you guys aren't bad.
Well, that's been the case the whole season. Whenever we've had a full complement of guys in terms of playing with our full team, we got depth, we got a lot of flexibility. We're a very good basketball team. It just so happens that throughout the course of the season, we've had a lot of misses. Dennis has had some personal problems that have set us back a little bit. And we're just trying to make a strong run and get into the playoffs, and hopefully we can get something done there.
Mike Fratello has said that you guys are the team that scares everybody come playoff time.
Well, I think because we play defense, we got experience, we've been there before, and then we got nothing to lose. We feel like we're the San Francisco 49ers a year ago when they were playing the best basketball at the end, the best football at the end of the season, but they didn't quite make the playoffs, but yet they were a team that nobody wanted to play.
Still something special about playing the Chicago Bulls. That was a big rivalry. I guess it continues.
Well, it's still special to play those guys because you want to beat them. It's just, yeah, you want to beat them.
You and Michael laughing a lot, but you get the last laugh today.
Well, today, yeah, but they've had an excellent season. They've done a superb job in defending, And I think they made the people of Chicago proud the way they've handled themselves this year.
All right, congratulations to you. Good luck to you coming playoff time.
Thanks.
All right, back to you, Kevin.